Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese, episode 591. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Selner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. Matt, welcome to 2025.
Hello, hello.
Hello visually to those listeners not looking at us, because we are now lookable. You can go find that over on our YouTube page. Matt, it's been a whole year since we've done one of these, and it's the start of our 13th season here in 2025. This episode is a special episode for us. It's our favorite, most anticipated episode of the year, I think. So in this, we'll look back. We each set some personal themes for 2024, and we'll reflect on those. Then we'll look at our 2024 predictions to see how we fared with points and how all of the math shakes out. We also made our first set of group predictions last year. So we'll see what happened as a group through 12 questions that we asked ourselves. And then the big moment comes. We go through 2025. We're going to start with group predictions for 2025, where we had a series of questions we asked and answered. We'll look at our most anticipated games for 2025. And then we're saving the best for last. Our 2025 predictions. But first, Matt, 25 years ago was a pivotal moment in human history. The Y2K. Where were you and what were you playing 25 years ago today?
I had to be at home. What did I have? I'm assuming still had Super Nintendo. What I've been playing? No idea. Just no clue. Everything
My memory
back then.
Yeah, it's got to be N64 and GoldenEye and Smash Brothers and
I guess.
I don't know.
I guess.
Yeah. Probably some Need for Speed game on PS1 or something like that. So I don't know. All right, Matt, enough preamble. We've got a big show to run through. So we started this a few years ago. We started doing an annual theme. Last year, my theme was the year of... You and I had these these antithesis.
I remember that.
Yes. Mine was the year of completion, and yours was the year of am I still having fun? So I'll jump in first. With the year of completion, my intent there was just finishing video games. We play all this stuff for the podcast, see it from beginning to end, but everything else sort of falls off. Sometimes I finish games, sometimes I leave them hanging. Often what happens though is that my eyes start wandering in a different direction. I'm reading an old magazine from 25 years ago, and I'm like, well, that game looks really cool. I should play that. Oh, this developer I've never heard of. I should look at that. And I go into all these weird directions, and I end up leaving all of these things unfinished. So I went into 2024 saying, I want to finish stuff. And I did finish stuff. The three big ones that I did, I think, exceptionally well with was Pokemon Violet. Before I bought the DLC for the game, I completed the main story. I did all of the rematches for the gym leaders, which is part of the post-game content stuff. Completed the Pokedex, and I did the Ace Arena tournament, which I have written down here, and I have no recollection of what that was, but I did it. Then I bought the DLC. I completed the Teal Mask DLC and 100% of the Pokedex. I am now still working through Indigo Disc. I haven't touched that in a little while because we kind of got started with our Season 13 gameplay here a little earlier than expected. And I've been knee-deep in that stuff. But yeah, the Pokemon, I went all the way, man. And it ended up... That was a game I left hanging with sort of I just didn't... I liked it, but I didn't love it. There were a lot of things to like about it, a lot of things to not like about it. And playing through it, it ended up being my favorite Pokemon game ever, I think, maybe. It's really great. Story is solid. The gameplay changes that they've made, the quality of life changes they've made, just all of these little things like that, I think worked really, really well for the game. And I would not have seen that if it weren't for the year of completion. I would have just left it as that Pokemon game I never finished. Next, instead of buying Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, because I kept every week thinking I'm going to buy it, I remembered that I had bought Marvel's Midnight Suns the night before Spider-Man 2 came out, and I left that hanging. I ended up going back, and I am one trophy away from the platinum. The only trophy I need is to go from Dark Affinity to Light Affinity, which takes way too long. I'm kind of working my way through a New Game Plus just for fun to see some of the other stuff and whatever, but it's crazy. Like, I remember playing that game and starting off thinking, boy, this is not XCOM. And then the more I played it and the more time I spent with it, the more I just came to like what it was. And you pick your characters. You can take, usually it's 3 characters into each mission. You have a deck of cards that dictates their attacks or their moves they can make at any given time on the grid. And I really got into min-maxing what I was taking into each fight, each mission, each whatever. And I don't know, it worked really, really well. I thought it was great. I liked the game. It got me way into Marvel for a bit, which was a nice change of pace for me. But I don't know, man. I would highly recommend Marvel's Midnight Suns, and I wouldn't have before if I just kind of bounced off and not seen it through. But the ultimate see it through, as anyone who's played anything from this series or the series it spun off of understands, uh, Persona 5 Royal, I finished, and I platinumed. I'd left that game somewhere in the 40-hour mark. The last time I touched it, I was in the middle of the bank, for those who've played and understand and know where that is. I was in that dungeon or whatever. I kind of started at some point in the year after Midnight Suns. I picked up where I left off and made some progress. And then we had a heavy month of podcast games, so I fell off and just moved in a different direction. But I came back to it and just kept going. And basically every day I was just a little bit more, a little bit more. And before I knew it, at some point over the summer, I was like, I think I can get the platinum in this. And it just happened. It was very, very doable. And I think those 3 stand out because they were definitely the ones where I went back to, I saw them through to the end. And I don't have this whole list of games like that. It really is those 3. But the thing I've been doing since then, anytime in between podcast games where, and there's not a big release, things like Astrobot, I did beat that last year, but it's easier, I think, sometimes with games like Astrobot that come out, you're in it as they come out, as part of the conversation is happening around them, and it's easy to sort of stay through and see it to the end. Others, it's not always the case. So in what I ended up finding myself doing in between things is finding these not forever games, but these games that just kind of feel like they don't end. And I keep going back to them to tick away at them. So Ridge Racer 6 on Xbox 360 was a good example of that, where you can just jump in, you can pick one race at a time, or you can stack 5 races to queue up one after another. Just kept doing that as I just keep making my way through the little map in that campaign. I've gone back to 3DS, playing more Mega 10 games in playing Devil Survivors Soul Hackers on that, and Mario Golf World Tour, just do a course at a time. Don't get first place, try the course again the next night. Just little bits like that, just to sort of chip away at things. And it's kind of reframed how I approach, I don't want to call it the backlog per se, but I'm trying to not have a backlog in the sense that I'm only buying things that I know I will spend time with, but also things I've already bought. I bought them for a reason, right? Something drew me to it. And why did I bounce off? In some cases, I bounced off because it just wasn't fun. In other cases, did I bounce off for the wrong reason? And I think a lot of the games I did end up finishing this year were kind of that. So I don't know, appreciating things on a different level. And it's helped me to do that. You kind of had the opposite, where you said,
I gotta get out.
Yeah, if this ain't doing it, I ain't doing it. So how did that go for you? Did you find yourself bouncing? Did you linger on any games that you otherwise would have left previously?
I don't think I lingered on anything I didn't want to. I think I accomplished my goal. But I don't think I didn't like I didn't stop, even if it was like I was at the end of something, like I didn't stop it because I wasn't having fun. I was just like, well, maybe it's time to stop doing the side stuff and finish like main campaign. And I think like Rebirth is like the big one, right? Like I did a lot of the Chadley stuff, like a lot of it. And there was some stuff I accidentally missed that I would go back to and do, but like after beating it, I didn't immediately go back on and start maxing out my materia for the hard run or anything like that. I just kind of like I saw it through and I'm done with it for now. I think Shadow of the Erd Tree is another good example. I did not beat it. I'm at the doorstep of the final boss. I haven't even gotten through phase 1 of the final boss in like my 5 tries. I don't think I've chipped away a fifth of the dude's health in 5 tries. So, it's like, okay, I'll probably I'll see it through at some point. It's just not going to happen right now. Yeah, it just kind of knocked the wind out of me. And like even like as I was like, it kind of worked out though. Like I kind of did more of that or more of that expansion than I thought I did when I started looking at like the boss checklist of like the areas I hadn't been to yet. And I pretty much had hit it all, stuff like maybe 1 or 2, which wasn't really that big of a deal to me. But no, I can't think of any other examples where I just kind of stuck around. But I think like the lack of platinum trophies and stuff like that I have this year also is telling of that. You know, I don't know if there was anything that really came out that would have pursued a platinum besides Rebirth, but that's such a meaty platinum. I knew that was going to be a tough time because of the way remake works. So yeah, but no, I left games when I wanted to and didn't stick around, and I think I had an overall just more fun year with video games. I don't know if it was just because of what came out either. It could be just because of that, but yeah, no.
It was also like a weirdly light year. Like there were a lot of big games. Like Final Fantasy VII Part 2 came out, but it still feels like a light year. I don't know why.
I think it just had multiple just huge games. Yeah, Metaphor. What else was nominated for Game of the Year? I'm trying to.
I don't think Dragon's Dogma got nominated, but that one was a big one early on, I think.
Yakuza was another big one.
You
mentioned earlier. I never got into. Yeah. No, but I think I honored it. I don't have like personal like victories that I did not write those down like you had.
It was something like I mean, in all honesty, I think the first note I made at the end of last year was probably the list of games for 2026. But the other note I made was this episode, knowing exactly what this was. And I've been keeping track of Pokemon Progress and Marvel's Midnight just kind of throughout the year. And I'd also written about it on the website too. So thefreecheese.com, go read there if you want to see more throughout the year I was kind of chronicling those journeys throughout the summer. And it paid off. Did our group predictions pay off, though? That's the big question. We're going to jump into that and see. So we had 12 questions we asked last year. Mark joined us for last year's episode. So I'll read the question. I'll read each of our answers, and then we'll keep track of points for how we did on these. Number 1, what will PlayStation do for the 30th anniversary of PlayStation? Matt, you said they will make a theme for PS5 and they'll put out a sale. Mark said at the very most, a Jim Ryan edition PS5 and or DualSense, at the very least, a post on social media. And I said a 30th anniversary DualSense along with PS5 covers. They'll also provide an update for the PlayStation Portal to allow local downloads or streaming of PSX games. I would give you a point for that. For Mark, I would give a point also, I guess, because he
nailed that.
He got the very most. Yeah. They did it. Yeah. At least all that.
You nailed
For
yours.
me,
you just said one little thing wrong. I'll give you the whole point.
Nah, give it a half point.
All right. Your decision.
Fair where it's fair. Next up, what will PlayStation do for the 20th anniversary of PSP? You said 20% discount on PSP. And that's PlayStation Portable. Mark said at the very most, a post on social media, at the very least, crickets. And I said a commemorative post on the PlayStation blog with the release of 2 games for PlayStation Plus Premium. I don't think they did anything for PSP.
I don't remember anything.
I checked. I looked at the PlayStation blog. I don't think there was anything. There might have been a social media post. I found nothing. They kind of just rolled it into the 30th anniversary of PlayStation stuff, as far as I could tell. So I guess 0 across the board on that. Next up, we asked, will Metroid Prime 4 release? We all said no, so 3 points. We said, which game will win the Keeley this year, and which game should have won? Matt, you and I said Dragon's Dogma will win. You said that Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater should have won. I said Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth should have won.
I'm not technically wrong.
You're not. And Mark said for both Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. 0 points across the board.
We didn't know Astrobot existed either, though.
That's true. We had no idea. Which is the exciting part about 2025. When I was sitting down doing my predictions and stuff, I was like, probably a lot we don't know, Nintendo. Speaking of which, will the new Nintendo console have Joy-Con controllers? Well, it remains to be seen. But at the time we said, I said no. Mark said yes, but they'll be upgraded. And you said yes, but Joy-Con 2 with support for original Joy-Con. Next up, we asked which major games scheduled for release will be delayed into 2025. I said Pragmata, whatever you say that. Mark said Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, and Matt, you said Call of Duty. 0 points, because I checked Pragmata, and Pragmata was delayed in 2023 indefinitely. So they never actually came back out and said anything about it. It's just, so 0 points there. This one, the most intriguing prediction of the year. What will Suicide Squad's open critic score be when we record our 2025 predictions? Matt, you said 77. Mark said 25. I said 80. Survey says 59. So I guess you're closest without going over? Or Mark's closest without going over? How does that work?
Closest without going over.
But you're closest within point range. Right? Because you're only 18 points away versus like 34 or 21 for me.
Half points to me, Mark.
Yeah, half points to you and Mark. Next up, we said in an attempt to recapture engagement, Microsoft will announce a revival of which Activision series? Matt, you said Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Mark said Hexen, and I said Guitar Hero. Unfortunately, no one was right, and we're all worse for it. Next, will Metroid Prime 2 Remastered be released this year? I said no. Mark said no. Matt said yes as the holiday game because Metroid Prime 4 is delayed into oblivion. Wrong for Matt. Right for Mark and I.
Gave myself the point. You want the 0.
Next up, which game is most in need of a remaster this year? I said Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. Mark said Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver, and Matt, you said Parasite Eve. And here's a trick question, because we were all correct in our answers, technically. But Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver did get a remaster.
Yeah. I think we were hopeful that we would get an announcement when making that prediction.
Yeah, I think so. But
Mark the point.
What is the name of the new Nintendo console? Remember how naive we were back then when we thought we'd know what the Nintendo console was? Some point in 2024. I said Nintendo Switch. Mark said most likely Nintendo Switch Plus. but he had a clever name called Tenshi, and you said Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, I said that he was gonna be right too because it's too fucking stupid.
I stay tuned, but yeah. And then if Sega announces the Super game this year, will it use an existing franchise? And if yes, which one? I said yes, it'll use every Sega franchise. Mark said no, and you said yes, House of the Dead. Unfortunately, we saw nothing of the Sega Super game in 2024. How's the standings looking after the results of our group predictions?
All right, I have Mark at 4.5.
Okay.
Joe, you are at 2.5.
Take it.
I am also at 2.5.
Well, let's see how we do after some individual predictions. We'll see how we fared on those. These are always the fun ones. Let's start with Mark's. Mark said Luigi's Mansion 4. Unfortunately, there is no new mansion. Mark said Donkey Kong is coming in full swing with a theme park, a new game, and a series on Peacock. I gave Mark a third of a point for this because we did get the theme park confirmation. There is a game, but it's a remaster of the Wii game, so I'm not counting that, and there's no TV series yet. So I say a third point there. Good luck with the math. Next up, Mark said Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League will be removed from the marketplace in less than a year. I'm giving him a half point.
Why?
And here's why.
I mean, I know
It's
that
still
game's
up from the
$3,
marketplace.
but
It's up from the marketplace, but support is ending before its first anniversary. They've quietly canceled the post-game support that was originally planned, those seasons ahead and all of that stuff. So it's not being removed, but I'll give him half a point for, or you can do a quarter point if you want to do a quarter point.
I'll give him a half. That was prediction 3, right?
That was 3.
Okay.
His fourth is that the next 3D Mario game will allow for true co-op. No 3D Mario game announcement. And finally, he says Switch Plus will build upon the Wii U's functionality by incorporating multiple Switch consoles to play co-op games like Star Fox Zero. Didn't happen. Sorry. No Switch successor announced.
5.33.
All right. I'm gonna save you for last because yours are always the fun ones. I said, with the rise of FPGA consoles and availability, celebrate the 35th anniversary of Game Boy, Nintendo will announce and release an FPGA-based Game Boy Mini. In addition to a library of classic titles, one original title will be included in the collection. Sega will tease a Sega Saturn Mini. Just threw that in as a final sentence. None of that happened. And in fact, right at the end of December, Sega came out and said, we're not a retro company and we are not making any more micro mini consoles. Eat it. So
you want to give yourself any sort of 0.2 or whatever? Because the Game Boy did come to the Switch.
I don't think that was this year, was it?
It wasn't? Oh, God.
I feel like it was. I know. I think it was the year before.
All right, never mind then.
I think they did. I don't know what they did this year. No, 0 points for me. Number 2, I said Halo Infinite will release a story expansion that does not feature playable Master Chief. A new cooperative mode in multiplayer will begin to explore new areas of the Halo Infinite campaign story. Also, a series of forge-constructed maps from Halo Combat Evolved will be released that allow players to relive the original campaign with up to 4 players cooperatively and without cutscenes. Not even close.
The stuff's there, but nothing was ever featured playlist.
No, I had all the pieces in the wrong spot. The Forge did keep the game alive in 2024, but it was a focus on Halo 2, if anything. There was also a rebrand to 343 that introduced the change to the Unreal Engine. Now Halo Studios has announced multiple upcoming projects, but Halo Infinite, I was not close. Number 3, I was also not close. Quake 5 is announced and released. The game will act as a sequel to both Quake and Doom Eternal. It will not launch with multiplayer. Instead, Quake Champions is released to console. Wrong. Doom the Dark Age was announced as id's next game, which we're not sure is not a sequel to Quake and Doom, but yeah. And Quake Champions sadly remains locked on PC. If you thought that was bad, stay tuned. Number 4, I said for its second year, PlayStation VR 2 will receive a wave of first-party support. Team Asobi will release its next game for PS5 with an option to play entirely in VR. Media Molecule will release a VR2 exclusive title. So Team Asobi released Astrobot, as we know, which was flat screen only. And yeah, Media Molecule still.
I'll give you 0.25 because that Astrobot game came out of nowhere.
All right, fair enough. I'll take a 0.25.
I mean, I know that's not in your prediction, but like,
dang, I should have said that. I'm gonna have to rewrite some of my 2025 stuff before we. No. Finally, this was my. Here we go. I said Nintendo's new console is the next in line of Iwata's vision of brothers in a family of systems. It is backwards compatible with all peripherals, but more closely resembles than a Switch Lite with integrated controllers. I thought it would be a solid body. No titles will release as exclusives, but instead will have different functionality on the new system. It will launch with the next 3D Mario title. Mario Kart 10 will not launch in the console's launch lineup. The Wii version of Punch-Out will be re-released to celebrate the series' 40th anniversary. Monster Hunter Wilds is announced for the platform, and somewhere a Smash Brothers logo appears. 0 points. I was going for the tiered, you know.
Yeah, sometimes you
let me get a
miss.
Sixth of a point.
Yeah. Sometimes you just miss. 2.7.
Let's see how you fared.
Oh, I know.
All right,
there's a couple I swear I missed that.
You were close. These are making my throat dry. All right, I said number 1. Or you not? I said you said. All right, we already did what I said. You said Nintendo buys a majority share of Ubisoft.
Damn. 1 year. It's gonna happen 1 year.
There were rumblings around Ubisoft.
Oh yeah.
I know there's some Tencent conversation. There's some. Should you say don't worry?
I said, oh no, I'm aware.
Oh, okay. I thought you were queuing up a 2025 prediction for who's buying Ubisoft.
Maybe not.
But yeah, Nintendo did not buy the shares. Nintendo would be a good buyer for them, but. Number 2, you said Switch 2 comes out this year. It can use the same dock, but there will be a 4K dock. This creates 2 bundles, a Switch 2 without a dock and a Switch 2 with the 4K dock. I didn't realize how smart that was when you announced it. That was really good. I didn't think about that. I didn't give you the weight that deserved. It's good.
It did happen. Doesn't matter.
Didn't happen, but it's a good. I like the skew. I like the 2 skews. Number 3, you said Halo Infinite is not dead yet. There's a new single-player expansion announced this year. The Flood are teased. We really liked Halo Infinite coming in this year.
Stay tuned.
Number 4, the value of Game Pass is finally met. We finally get 4 AAA releases from the Umbrella Xbox Game Studios. Bonus value, Game Pass Ultimate includes a WoW subscription.
No, the last part didn't happen. So, shit.
If you hadn't done that, I got you. You did have 4. Call of Duty, Black Ops 6. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. And Aura, History Untold was the other big. It's technically not an Xbox Game Studio title, but they put it in their developer direct back in January. They've promoted the heck out of it. They've treated it for all intents and purposes like an Xbox Game Studios title. So I
0.5.
I would go 0.75, man. I feel like the bonus value was a bonus add-on for you. Would you play WoW if Game Pass Ultimate included a WoW subscription?
Nope, I have my MMO.
All right. All right, number 5. This is where Matt did what he does.
I didn't read my predictions, but I remember this one.
At Summer Games Fest, a teaser trailer for a horror game is revealed and shadow dropped. Asterisk. The same day, and shadow dropped the same day, called Troubled Townhouse. Aware viewership see that the 7780s studio developed the game. Upon completing the game, you will be given a QR code that takes you to a website with a countdown. When the countdown ends 4 days later, the URL is dead. However, keen players will notice Trouble's Townhouse has an update. Upon a second completion that adds some kind of new level or puzzle, you are given a "Thanks for playing TT" teaser 2. Then you are met with a teaser trailer for OD that reveals Kojima Productions is working with Konami on Silent Hills. Weird that oddly specific prediction did not come true. However,
what if it did, though?
I know. The thing that sucked for you is that this one was one of your first predictions that was just not nullified right away, but basically once we saw Kojima announced Fizzant in January. Yeah, the new Metal Gear Kojima thing. But yeah, that to me told me probably not getting another I don't know, another seemed pretty locked in on Death Stranding 2, OD, and Fizzant.
How the hell locked in are we? We didn't see shit at the Game Awards for DS2 on the beach.
Do we need to?
That game's supposed to come out next year.
Yeah, that's true.
Or this year, sorry.
This year, yeah. We're here. What can we do? Well, I'll tell you what we can do. We can make predictions for 2025. As we do. So.
Oh, boy.
Welcome to the halfway point. At this point in the show, I'd clear my throat. We put 2024 behind us, as it is. And we move into the future. We're going to start this year. We're going to save. You heard how ambitious and specific and perfect our individual predictions are. So we're going to save those for the end.
You had a 3.25, by the way. So,
oh my gosh, right.
Sorry,
Who won?
Sorry, I had a 3.25. You had 2.75. Mark had 5.33 with most of his points coming from the group stuff. So he wins overall. He also
when I looked at just scores for individual predictions, you guys were tied.
No, because he had 0.33 and a 0.5 to my 0.75. So by 0.13 points, he is the winner.
All right, perfect. Perfect.
So yeah, congratulations, Mark, on the overall win and the win in both categories.
You did it. You did it. All right. We're going to do some group predictions. So these were intended group predictions for those just joining us. So that we don't have to burn personal predictions on things that we would likely talk about. But it also gives us an opportunity to see sort of how we would answer these rapid fire sort of questions in a way. Let's jump right into it. Number 1. Which Nintendo franchise will make a surprise return on the successor to Nintendo Switch?
Me first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Golden Sun.
Ooh, all right. I'm gonna write yours down as we're doing this, so I've got
Mm.
an easier way to post this stuff later. You say Golden Sun. I say Custom Robo. But
Okay.
both answers are correct. Isn't that fun? Number 2. What dream announcement will not happen?
Quake.
Oh, yeah. That's good. I went a little weirder with this one. For me, 2025 is the year of Metroid. You will see this, listener, later on in the year well, you'll see it next week because we're kicking off season 13 with Metroid Other M. But throughout the year, I've got some Metroid stuff peppered in. I'm really excited about Metroid Prime 4. I think it's the year of Metroid for Nintendo. Um, wouldn't it be great if we got Metroid the animated series specifically to put it in the art style of if you open the NES manual and look at the art in there, whew, top notch. I want like an old school 80s sci-fi looking animated series, but it won't happen at all. Number 3. I got too many things to follow now. Now I'm over here. Number 3, which game is not being hyped up that you are following?
To quote what I have written there, does Doom count?
Doom counts. You can say Doom because I almost said Doom for something else. So Doom the Dark Ages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's talking about Doom. And maybe that'll change as we get closer. We'll get some more looks at it and stuff.
But there was a couple times during like when we're talking about Game Awards and stuff with some people like at work and other friends and stuff, I keep saying like, Xbox, Doom, and they're like, oh yeah. I feel like I've gotten that like, oh yeah, that one's coming out. Not the right. Yeah. Or like, yeah, totally Doom. It was like, more yeah, oh yeah.
Like even me, I will play that, but I'm like, oh, all right, yeah, it's coming. It looks cool, but I wanted Quake real bad. For me, I said Tokyo Extreme Racer. Genki finally announced a new Tokyo Extreme Racer, and here's the thing. It's been a while since I've been on social media, but from what I remember, every person in the world says they want a new Ridge Racer. And there was one of these fun leakers that claims they know things, and 6 months later, everybody finds out they were full of it. There was this claim from a leaker that was debunked that there was a new Ridge Racer in the works, and everybody cried because it was canceled and blah, 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 and it ended up not being real anyway. But everyone always says they want one. No one will buy one. You can buy Ridge Racer 6 right now. You can buy Ridge Racers for PSP on your PS5. You can do all these things. No one buys it. So just put your money into Tokyo Extreme Racer when it releases, because it's what you want. It's what you've been asking for, but nobody's paying attention. This next one's a fun one. Number 4. Will Xbox release new hardware in 2025?
Microsoft manufactured, no.
Oh!
I'm not saying yes to anything else, but I'm declaring specifically why no.
All right. So check this out. No, but Steam Deck will get an official Xbox app. Because
everything's an Xbox.
Correct. And when I say that, I mean you'll be able to download games and play them on Switch or on Steam. Yeah. And Xbox consoles will start supporting Steam Remote Play ahead of eventual integration, allowing you to download and play SteamOS games.
I think I said that shit like 3 years ago.
I know. You probably... I remember that. We're ready for it.
That's what we all thought Xbox was going to be, a Windows machine.
Still might be. Number 5. What is the name of the successor to Nintendo Switch?
Sticking with it. Switch 2.
You're a believer.
They can't fuck up the naming. There's no like they've done it way too many times.
I know. I know. I mean, how closely have you paid attention to this most recent run of leaks?
I see stuff on Reddit. I'm not really reading a lot of it. I see the pictures and I'm like, ah, that looks like a Switch, and I kind of move on.
The the most like the people who vetted what they could vet and whatever right now, as of today, it seems like it is actually called Nintendo Switch 2. That someone showed a picture of the dock and then it has a number 2 right next to it. I know that a couple like actual outlets did their own investigations into the legitimacy of these claims and pictures and stuff, and they seem to be believing it, albeit with a grain of salt. But yeah, you might have had it right all along. Number 6. Speaking of, will Metroid? Yeah. Oh my gosh, sorry. Nintendo Switch.
Oh.
Period. Sticking with mine from last year. How do you ruin a good thing? Ask me to help you with it. Number 6. Will Metroid Prime 4 Beyond release this year?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think it's coming. I think it's coming very soon.
Yep, me too.
Yeah. I'm hoping that if not by the time this episode is up, within a couple of weeks from this posting, we know a lot more about the successor to Nintendo Switch.
I think Nintendo wants to make that happen.
Yeah.
I saw that rumor.
Yeah. So we'll see. Number 7, kind of a counterpart to our third question. Which game is everyone anticipating, but you're having trouble finding excitement for?
Elden Ring.
Oh, really? The what's it called? Night Rain?
Yes. Yeah. I forgot the right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. People are stoked about that, huh?
From my circle and my thing, they're more happy. They're happy with more Elden Ring. It just doesn't seem like more Elden Ring. Not in the traditional sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a weird.
I'm sure it'd be good. It's just I don't
want
like a multiplayer run based thing.
No. I'm going GTA 6 on this one. I looked at a list of games coming out and I'm like, what are people stoked about? I'm like, they're stoked about GTA 6. And I'm just not there. I don't know. Are you?
I think I am. I mean, I don't know. For as long ago as I played GTA 5, the campaign I liked the campaign. I had fun with it.
I did too. Yeah,
I think look, I might have to do my year of on it where I stop playing it after 30 hours if it gets too long or I'm not having as much fun anymore, but I think I'll buy it.
Yeah, I'm sure I end up buying it when it comes out. It's just, I don't know. I'm not there. I looked at a list of like the most anticipated, and it was like GTA 6 and Ghost of Yotei, and I was like, are people really stoked on Ghost of Yotei?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You can mark me down for that one too, I guess. Then, because I don't know. I never played Tsushima. I just open world fatigue.
I don't think that's
wasn't anything about that
though. No, that doesn't seem like a 2025 game. Did they say that's 2025?
I don't know. I don't remember it being 2025. Maybe it is, but number 8. What will be the biggest announcement at EVO 2025?
I'm curious about your answer because I don't think I had a good answer. I just said Street Fighter 6 Year 3. Because Year 2 should be done. Year 2 will be done because EVO's late this year. It's in August.
Yeah, you're probably right that at what EVO has become, a PlayStation-owned event, the biggest announcement we're likely to get is Street Fighter 6 Year 3's content. You will probably get the point when we sit down in a year. However, I wrote Marvel vs. Capcom 5. I don't know why, but I did. So, we'll see what happens there. Also, stay tuned because that answer in particular has ramifications. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll get there. Number 9. Um, is Super Smash Brothers announced this year?
No.
I agree. I said no, but the original gets added to Nintendo Switch Online with online play.
Okay.
Number 10. Which live service game do you think will close in 2025, but it will actually stay running into 2026?
Uh, I had an answer. Now that you just reread it, I think I'm wrong by default. I had Suicide Squad because I just don't know many games has a live service, especially ones that suck. But
Mm.
if you say close, it's already closed. I was thinking off the marketplace.
Oh, I'm thinking like
Yeah, I
they
know
get the
what you're
thing.
saying. No,
Yeah.
reread of it, not at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, think on it for a second. Remember, you've got things like Destiny and the First Descendant and Warframe
What's the
and
first Descendant? I
it's
remember
okay.
the
It's all
name,
right.
but
It's fine. Uh, think on those for a minute. I will throw out there the one called Multiverses.
that's a good answer.
You could steal it if you want. You want to steal Multiverses?
Nah, I want to. I want no.
All right.
Um, I'll say
Here, I'm typing live service
I tried that.
video
I
game.
tried that like 5:30. It's a mess.
Man, yeah, this is not great.
I'll um. I'll stick with Suicide Squad, but I'll go with like caveat off the marketplace completely.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
Sorry, I fucked that up.
No, you're good. Off the marketplace. Sold. Number 11. What will win Game of the Year at Jeff Keighley's The Game Awards?
So no, I'm gonna stay consistent with my answers. I'm gonna say Monster Hunter.
Same, dude. Monster Hunter Wilds. I think it's time. I think it's time it got its due. Conversely, what will be your Game of the Year 2025?
So I have two answers because one's contingent on an unannounced game that's just heavily rumored. The personal game of the year I think is gonna be Doom, for me.
Yeah.
I also threw out there Resident Evil 9.
Yeah. I'll put both. Because I can see both happening. I said I wanted to say Monster Hunter Wilds, but I also wanted to give some variety to the list. I think it probably will be Monster Hunter Wilds, but I said either this Let It Die revival thing that's happening. You know what's happening with this? Have we talked about this at all? Is this the time I can talk about it?
Oh, in the air, I don't think actually I don't know much about it. Period.
Okay, you remember Let It Die?
Yep.
Amazing roguelike thing. Yeah. They are still supporting. You can play that. You should download it and play it today. You watching, listening out there. They made a sequel called Deathverse: Let It Die, and it was more of like a it was like a battle royale, like run based thing. It was not.
Yeah,
It wasn't the same.
Was that from a couple years ago?
Yeah, I think it was 22. Yeah.
Okay.
It came out and within less than a year they pulled it completely because it was like it just didn't have the same click as Let It Die. It didn't have the same like I don't know. From what I played of it, it just didn't feel the same. And tonally it was completely different. Where like Let It Die was this weird post-apocalyptic climb the tower of death, all that stuff and whatever. Like not even close tonally. So they pulled it, but they've since been working on a new game and they've been showing little bits of it on their official YouTube page and stuff. And it looks like Let It Die one, but like outside sometimes. And I don't know. It seems like they're kind of taking the lessons that they learned from making that second one that didn't work, pulling back in a lot of the stuff that was rad about Let It Die 1 and making a new game. And yeah, the producer keeps saying, or the director keeps saying, like, this is closer to like a Let It Die 3 or maybe even 4 than it is anything else. So I don't know. For me, if that comes out in 2025,
Yeah.
that is probably my game of the year. If not, I'm starting to get pretty hyped about this Skate reboot.
Ooh.
I know.
Ooh. Can't
Yeah.
wait for predictions.
So yeah, we'll see what happens there. Number 13. We got three more of these. 13. Will GTA 6 release in 2025?
This is why I said another game will win Game of the Year. It will not.
Yeah, I agree, man. GTA 6 ain't hitting this. Not at all. It took 5. How many times did 5 get delayed? Or maybe even not even 5, but like Red Dead Redemption 2 specifically
Red Dead got
had
delayed a lot.
so yeah, ton. Oh, that should have been one. Will GTA 5 come to the successor to Nintendo Switch before GTA 6 releases on other platforms?
I I don't have a prediction about that, but I almost so that was actually almost my answer for Nintendo franchise to make a surprise return, but it never was there. I was gonna say Grand Theft
Yeah,
Auto 5.
yeah. Yeah. All right, two more. Number 14. What is the hook of Pokemon Legends ZA?
I didn't know what to say, so I just said it actually looks and runs okay.
Hey, all right. I said that we already know that it's going to be in Lumio City. That's the thing that they announced. You're going to be playing within the confines of Lumio City. Obviously, if you played X and Y, you know Lumio City is pretty small. So how do you make that a big enough area for that? Well, I think A, you'll be able to go into every building, but B, I think you'll also be helping to build the city because part of the teaser was about like the
Oh.
renovation project or something. So I think you'll be helping to build the city in some sort of city builder thing. And I think you, yes, you, will become a gym leader by the end of it. I think that's the hook.
Oh. I did that.
Um,
Pretty much ripping off Power World.
exactly. Exactly. And number 15, what will be the obvious launch title for the successor to Nintendo Switch?
Switch
Did we have
on!
this?
Exclamation point.
No, you didn't say that.
Switch on.
Oh man, amazing. I did not expect that at all.
Switch on. Is Metroid Prime 4 the answer? Of course it is, but nope, I'm sticking with Switch on! Exclamation point.
Switch on. What was the first one called?
1-2 switch.
1-2 Switch. That's it. Yeah. I didn't go Metroid Prime. I went Mario Kart 10.
Oh.
I know. That's what we do. It's what we do. All right, let's real quick before we get to the good stuff, our predictions. Just quickly, I want to run down our most anticipated for 2025. What are you looking forward to the most playing?
Ooh. Doom, I think pretty obvious with some of my answers here. Resident Evil 9, if that thing gets released and it goes back more third person, it has incorporated some of that Resident Evil 4 gameplay, but maybe a little bit more on the horror side than 4. I think it's going to be a really solid outing as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't looking up games. I saw there's a Corpse Party 2 coming out or being released.
Yeah,
I might check that out too. But no, I think Monster Hunter. I told you. I don't think I've said it on air at this point, but like this is it. This is the one. It's either gonna click and I'm in or not, and that's fine. I will move on with my life, but I will at least be there day one.
See, you saying that a couple weeks ago, you screwed up our group predictions because the first question I wrote for group predictions like 7 months ago was, what game does Joe have to play in order to get you to play Monster Hunter Wilds? And I don't have to do anything. You're just in. So it's a win. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Wilds is going to be something special, I hope. I'm really stoked on Metroid Prime 4. I'm really excited to see what they do with that after all this time. I I also just want more Metroid games. Like Dread was good. It wasn't like great. It didn't whatever. And like I'm not expecting this to be the best Metroid game ever made, but like just keep making them, man. Keep putting them out. Let's go. Um, there's one coming out pretty soon here called Sin Duality Echo of Ada that is a weird. I've played some of the open betas and stuff they've put out, or I did the closed beta or whatever network test. It's a weird like extraction kind of thing. It's got like a weird anime world. They made an actual anime. I don't know, something about it's fun. It's like a third person action game that has some hooks to it, some sort of like risk reward stuff. We've also got Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tan coming out this year. I kickstarted that one, so I should have that whenever it arrives. I'm looking forward to that. Pokemon Legends ZA, the aforementioned Tokyo Extreme Racer, and Let It Die 3. But Matt, I would be remiss not to call out Arika's Tetris, the Grandmaster 4, Absolute Eye.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see the box art. Is it out yet?
I haven't seen it yet,
Okay.
but it's going to be out before end of March.
That's good.
So,
I was waiting for you to say like terrorist attack, but no.
It might as well be with what they put out, man. Yeah. Yeah, Adam, I genuinely like whatever Nintendo ends up doing, like it's gonna be that'll be the stuff. So
Mm.
Also there's some other stuff that may or may not come out in these predictions here that
Oh yeah.
I feel could be on the list. So let's get into them. We're gonna volley them back and forth as we do. I'm gonna cue you up for the grand finale because I know your number 5 is certainly to be a grand
Joe,
slam.
what I have about 3 number 5s already.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with a softball for number 1 so that we can get you to the big stage there. Number 1. You know what? I'm going to pivot real quick. I'm going to move this to number 1, just make it easy. Number 1, Resident Evil 9 is announced and released before holiday 2025. Jill is back.
Oh, Jill is back as main character or just in the story?
One of the main characters.
Okay.
Playable, I'll add that.
Playable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you read yours, I'll modify mine so it's clear.
All the rumors keep saying Leon, but it's time for Jill's comeback.
And I see Leon for sure in my, but yeah.
All right, my number 1. PlayStation has a slower year as some internal studios need more time before announcing games. However, highlights will include Blue Point's original game and Bend coming back to Uncharted. The biggest win simply comes from a remaster, however. Bloodborne Remaster will come to PS5 and PC same day.
Oh,
they
finally
bought that ownership stake, dude. They got some control. Make things happen, Herman.
You think was that the sole reason? It had nothing to do with the fact that
is the absolute sole reason why I'm sticking with this prediction. It's the last glimmer of hope.
Yeah. Someone's got to do it, right? Or at least make a sequel. Do something. I don't know. That's good.
I don't know.
That's good. Keeping things over in Japan. Persona 6 is revealed. Green is the color scheme, which is not really, I'm not making a prediction on that. I mean, we'll include it as part of my points, but they did like a teaser poster at some point for like the 25th anniversary of Persona, and they showed this like green can of paint or something off to the right, and it was like, okay, I see what you're doing. Persona 6 is going to be green. But the important part about this one is that it releases simultaneously on all major platforms.
Oh.
Yes, that includes the successor to Nintendo Switch.
Oh, finally. Because this still does have a proper Persona game. It just has that like that weird follow up, right, to Persona 5.
Strikers. They did get 4, 5, and 3. The like.
Okay.
PSP Vita ports. When those hit Steam, they later hit they hit Steam first, then they hit PlayStation and Xbox, and they hit Switch at the same time.
Reloaded, Royal, and...
Not Reloaded. No. Reloaded is actually not on Switch.
Oh.
It's just the P3 portable,
Oh, okay.
that port that they did.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, it's that golden and royal. But yeah,
That'd be
full
good.
6.
That'd be
Yeah.
good. I'm going beyond gaming for a second. Andrew Wilson will leave EA for the Disney gig, thus bringing in the golden era of EA.
Oh.
It
Oh.
begins with the reveal of Mass Effect gameplay that looks promising and a lot like Anthem with some flying. Respawn shows off their Star Wars FPS that plays like Titanfall 3 should have. Skate looks like a good skate game. The Golden Age does have a negative effect though. EA Play leaves Game Pass sometime in 2026, but adds day one unlimited access for those subscribed directly to EA Play. No more of the 10-hour trial bullshit. It's day one there.
Well, we already got Anthem knocked out, so I don't need EA Play anymore. But yeah. I like it. Obviously, I like the skate part. I'm surprised you didn't throw down for Titanfall 3. I thought we were getting it.
No, it's been announced, or it's heavily rumored. They're definitely doing a Star Wars game. So I just think it's going to play a lot like Titanfall 3. Which I'll play that, sure.
Yeah. Speaking of big companies, Matt, my number 3 prediction takes us over to Sega, who's having a very big year in 2025. 2 of the games announced in 2023, those revival series, if you recall, it was Jet Grind Radio, Crazy Taxi, Shinobi. Help me out. There were 5. Streets of Rage. Don't remember that last one.
You have the wrong person to help you out with Sega related things.
I don't know why I'm blanking on it. Either way, there were 5 games announced at the 2023 thing. 2 of those get released this year. I don't know which 2, but 2 of them are coming out. The sequel to Sonic Frontiers is announced before the end of the year. Not necessarily a direct sequel to the game, but whatever the next big Sonic is. 1 brand new property is announced, and another revival is announced, bringing House of the Dead back into the limelight. What's your number 3?
The Switch 2 will have a weaker new game first year than the Switch 1 did, despite Prime 4, Mario Kart, Everyone's Here, and a new 3D Mario game. However, it will ride the wave of 4K upscaling to its main Switch titles and teases for major releases like Zelda and Kirby. 3D Mario incorporates a, quote, open galaxy. Yes, Super Mario Galaxy 3 is the new 3D Mario game.
Is that 4-part prediction? 5-part prediction?
I don't know.
I lost count.
Dude, the next one's a mess, so don't even start. We might have 0.02 points going on.
Perfect. I think Switch is going to have a big year. I think Nintendo is going to have like a good, but I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be like
Dude, that
the Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Like Splatoon,
yeah.
ARMS, like the stuff that you forget about besides Zelda and Mario being that first year. It was stacked. And Mario Kart 8 came out too. Like I mean, it was a re-release, but still.
Well, and the one thing I said this, I haven't said this on air. I said it like in a Discord chat with us, but I'll say it here. I want to give Nintendo credit for the Switch throughout its entire lifespan, because barring like 4 months period, there has been a first-party release for Switch every month since that thing has launched. And if it wasn't something first-party, it was something they got involved with and promoted from that standpoint. Like when they did Diablo and brought Diablo 3 over, which that one was one where they actually put like Ganon in the game as a playable character. They did like a similar thing with Overwatch to promote that as like their big game or whatever. And they didn't really do anything to put Nintendo stuff in Overwatch. But like, you know, I feel like every month we've just had something. Even this past year, like there was new Nintendo stuff.
Yep.
Dryer, and a lot of it was ports and whatever.
I'm trying to think what
Yeah,
else.
Peach was new. The new Mario and Luigi. What is it?
Right, right. I mean,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was like
last. It was last year at this point, but super late last year was Wonder.
yeah, Wonder was in October of 23. I forget there was something in November of 23. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean,
they're
yeah, you had
pumping
the
stuff
Peach
out.
game this year. There's been a steady flow. They did the NES, not remix, but the World Championship stuff over the summer. They revived the Famicom Detective Club for a third game. Like they put stuff out in 24. So if that's what they were able to do while sitting on a bunch of big stuff for the successor to Nintendo Switch in 2025, I think they'll have a pretty good 25. And I hope they keep that cadence as much as possible. Either way, you know what I'm really stoked for? Xenoblade Chronicles X, because I never bought it on Wii U, and I always like teetered on the edge of buying it. And then once the store went down, I was like, all right, I'm never going to play that game. It's just not going to happen. But now I'll play it hopefully on Switch too.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I think that Switch 2 will have a good first year, but like the Switch 1 had a. I don't want to say unique because it was in a bad spot, but like they were just holding games because they knew it was going to
Yeah, it
die on
was.
the Wii U. So like they were able to
Yeah.
shotgun blast that first year, and luckily they've been able to keep up with the pace, like you said. I just because they've been keeping up at pace, I don't think they have the shotgun loaded again.
No, but I think Mario Kart will carry it for
I
a while,
I
and
think
then
there's stuff, but yeah, it's not going to
yeah,
be like it was like once a month was a first party Nintendo game that first year or that first Switch.
I bet they do that again. They might not be as big, but I bet they do at least one a month. They've already got 2 months covered, technically. Donkey Kong's January, and Xenoblade is it March? I think.
Well, I was talking more specifically Switch 2, but all
Which
right, sure.
yeah. Well, you got to figure like Metroid Prime 4 is going to straddle the line,
I think
but
forums. I think four is their big 4K display.
yeah, I
I
think
think
so.
that's their marquee launch title.
Yeah,
And I think Mario Kart comes like 2 months after, realistically.
yeah. Mario Kart's got to be out by holiday if they're going to sell this to everybody else. All right, number 4. Did you catch that trailer for Superman
I
coming out in
did because
July?
it came on door at a football game on Christmas.
So you know
I'm out.
DC Studios is they're on the ride.
Yeah, some could say that.
They're doing what they can to revive the film and television division of DC Comics. And with no sign of Wonder Woman or a new Suicide Squad season or anything else on the rise, who has always been there as our DC Comics video game savior? But Ed Boon. And Ed Boon shall rise to announce a brand new Injustice game. The Injustice game that should have been Mortal Kombat 1. All of the comic book characters that ended up in Mortal Kombat 1 were not meant for Mortal Kombat 1, Matt. They were meant for Injustice 3. However, licensing deals complicated what Injustice 3 was meant to be, and it just meant a little bit more time and care needed to be placed on making the game what it could properly be. I don't know if you noticed this, but late last year, a series of collections were re-released by DC Comics in collaboration with Marvel Publishing, bringing back every single iteration of the Marvelverse DC stuff that's ever been printed in nice brand new collections. Why would you do that if you're not teeing up for Edward Boon to come out with his team at NetherRealm and announce Injustice 3 Marvelverse DC? Split that roster right down the middle, both sides. The multiverse is happening. This
I
time
hope
it's real.
that'd be cool. I hope.
Not going to happen at all. But I need it. I fully need it.
I don't know what's going on over there at WB. No idea.
No, if anything, they'll make another Mortal Kombat and upset me. But
So the one bit of news that I care about DC was I saw the Batman 2 was delayed to 2027. I was like, well, see there.
no, it wasn't.
I think it was 2027.
Was
I'm
it?
pretty sure. Yeah.
Was that recently? I know it got delayed to
I feel
26.
like I just maybe it was 26. Oh, maybe it was 26. Sorry, maybe it was 26. I knew it was like a
thought he
long
was
time
just-
out. I was just like, oh, you know what? I'll see you all then.
No, dude, you're right. 2 days ago, or yeah, 3. Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, yeah, yeah. I'll see you all then.
2027.
Our Pats is busy, dude. Doesn't have time for deep sea
Ah,
comics.
I'll be dead. All right. All right. Well, there's that. In the meantime, we'll be playing. You can play as Spider-Man and Nightcrawler and fight against Superboy and Robin in the new NetherRealm game.
Make your own Batman
That
too.
that'll be the Evo announcement of the.
Oh,
That'll be
there's
the
no
big one.
way.
No, I was careful not to be an idiot. Um. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. All right, that was number 4 for me. What's your number 4?
All right, here's the big one.
Oh, this is the okay.
No. This is I got another dumb one. I'm gonna swing for the fences and miss for 5. But here's a shotgun blast that might get .22. Phil Spencer settles in to deliver Xbox's biggest year since the 360 era. You're gonna see a release of 11, count it, 11 games. Here are the games: Call of Duty, Doom, Perfect Dark, The Outer Worlds 2, State of Decay 3, Avowed, Fable, South of Midnight, that Clockwork Revolution game by that studio in Exile, and then your 2 surprise releases that we don't know of yet. Double Fine is working on a Conquer game, and Mojang is working on a Banjo project.
Dude.
Of those 11, I'm not done. Of those 11, 5 will see PlayStation releases in 2025. But the moment of the year happens for Xbox when Halo is revealed is actually 3 games. MCC on PlayStation, a 1 remake, and a new game that reboots the lore somehow. The Flood are teased. So take with that how many parts. We'll figure that out next year.
That'll be me, Christmas morning, 2025, sitting down over coffee and going, "Oh yeah, we got to record that thing." What did Matt say? Oh man, it'll be fun having to check the list of games and me putting. I got it. So what do you got? You technically just announced what?
I pretty much their slate that is cooking is coming out.
I know, but how many was it? It was like
It was
11 plus the 3.
It was
Halo?
11 are coming out 2025. All
But
those
in
games,
terms of like
yeah. Oh, and then
games you discussed.
yeah, 14.
Okay, good.
But
Good.
you have to remember the 5 going on PlayStation Part 2. So you got that little point
Caveat.
08
Right.
in there.
Perfect.
I'll figure.
And
it out
this is
later.
not your craziest prediction, right?
This is the ridiculous amount of parts. I have a dumb one. I don't think it's that dumb, but I'm swinging for the fences for the full point.
Fair enough. I like that. Xbox needs a good year. I like my Xbox a lot. I play most of my games on Xbox these days. I'd also like to buy a Steam Deck that runs Xbox games. So
also another thinking for the shotgun blast of stuff is for Game Pass because they know EA Play's leaving.
Aha. Yeah. Okay. All right. You sold me. I don't take much to sell, but I've got number 5. The trailer starts, and we will think this is an opening to another From Software game. We watch a warrior drag a sword into a dimly lit hallway. We hear the subtle string sounds of notes slowly floating about that fade as quickly as they're played, till suddenly we start to recognize them, and they sound awfully familiar. A flash of gameplay cuts, Bloody Tears starts playing, the character runs through the castle, and the trailer quickly drops as he approaches Dracula. Castlevania is back. In a brand new third-person action-adventure title from Konami. End scene. I can only predict Castlevania games every year, so why not go? I've taken a few years off from having hope. I think this is the year.
My concern is Konami takes their time with like a one game a year approach, and Delta, I think, has that slot.
It's a tease. It's just a
Okay.
hey, here's a look.
Oh, is
We're
this
about to
all?
put
Is this also with the unannounced RTX card at the bottom of the trailer?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's how they get Dracula looking so good.
Oh man.
I think we're there, man. You got the anime is super popular. You've put Castlevania in every indie game that's
I
released in the
mean,
last
yeah,
decade.
they have.
So, like, what's next? Nosferatu just killed it in theaters. Uh, Vampires are hot. I think it's time. Get it back. Also, like, yeah, the Netflix anime has the new season starting this month, like in a week or so.
I can see that. Do you want 3D
Fine.
or 2D though?
I want 3D. We haven't had a. I like the PS2, Xbox era 3D games, but they never felt. They feel like those era 3D action adventure games feel. You know what I mean? Where they're like a little stiff. The jumps feel like you're gonna die every time you land. Like it just doesn't. It's not. I want something that feels better. So, yeah, because 2D, honestly, they could make one, but there's already so many 2D Castlevania games, and there's just so many imitators now. Like,
Right. No, I was just not on the
yeah,
record, but
like,
I was just curious, see where.
yeah. I like Hollow Knight does that stuff just as well,
Right.
and Igarashi's out there making Bloodstained, and everybody's doing those things. I want to see what Castlevania does in a 3D space. I think Lords of Shadow was a good step, but it just didn't quite get it. It got it, but I don't know. Something was off. I don't know what I want, but something. Eh.
That could happen. No, because you're right. Like, there's a Belmont in just about every indie game right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Every single. Did Balatro do a Castlevania thing yet? Did they? Was that part of their thing?
So,
They did that like indie crossover, but I don't remember if they put Bell. I just feel like they're just.
well, they did
They're in
card
everything.
fonts or card designs in different franchises. Now I can't remember if Castlevania
I think
was
it
in
was
it.
just indie game. I don't think it was. I think it was just
Okay.
indie games. But yeah.
Yeah, but like,
Um.
no, I could. Yeah, I see that.
It's
I can
time.
see that being like, we're at the end of the year and Keely's sitting there shaking with a microphone and he's like, I can't believe this is happening, guys. It's finally happening. We're doing it again. And
Prize.
well, it won't actually.
Yeah.
I take that back. It can't be Keely because he has that grudge against him because of fucking Kojima and him. So what's another PlayStation? PlayStation probably
Yeah.
do it.
It'll show up at a PlayStation thing or an Xbox thing.
Xbox be bold.
It'd be pretty good. I'd be down with that. I don't care where it shows up. Just put it out. Do it.
All right. Well, speaking of
Because
events,
the 40th anniversary is next year in 26. So like
Oh yeah, no.
announce it
we're gonna
now.
need
Let's
it. We
go.
need
Let's
it. We need it.
yeah.
What has
All
brought us
right.
Keely?
Number 5. Hit us with the grand finale.
Sometime this year, at a Keely event, will we be presented with a brother and sister main character duo named Rosalind and Iris Mundus. They represent the two playable characters in Final Fantasy XVII, with emphasis on the two eyes at the end. It will feature an open world with a character switching system like GTA 5 and Spider-Man 2, where each character has their own set parties. This invites special dungeons and or boss fights, which will implement an 8-party member system that expands upon the synergy ability system seen in 7 Rebirth. That's
I'm
it.
waiting to.
No, that's it. That's it. It's gonna be
I
some
like it.
brother sister struggle. This is what I picture this game being. There is like gray area of good and bad for both of the brother and sisters, and then or both the brother and sister and their set parties and their different motivations and stuff like that. And then about 4/5 of the way through the game, they figure out their differences, and there's a bigger, higher power that they end up having to take down, Ultima or some shit like that, right? Some Final Fantasy bullshit. But um, but yeah, I think it's going to be about nature and the world and how they want to. So that's where I come up with the flower names. And
I like this.
Mundus is the shit, I forgot to write it down which one. But Mundus is like the Latin word for Earth, I think, or planet.
All right,
So
I'm not laughing. I'm fully on board with this. I love
so
this.
like I think we're gonna have some kind of those themes going on. And then yeah, I was thinking, I was like, well, the open area stuff was better than 15's open world, but I think you can do a good open world if you set up the character switching stuff. As long as it's not too big. Like New York City's not that big with two characters. They each have their own separate systems. Like I think the boy band was one of the main attractions of Final Fantasy 15, right? What if you have
Sure.
the girl band and the boy band, or a mix, and you have their own parties? You have two bands equally liked come together. And that's Final Fantasy 17. Not out this year, just released, but we know what it is.
Is this still Naoki Yoshi P? Is he still directing it, picking up where he left off on 7 or 16?
I think so, yeah, because I don't know. I'm assuming they're staffed up for two teams now, and now that if they're not, Dawn Trail's out, and I think
Sure.
literally the last patch came out, or I see, I, I think they had. I don't know. I am briefly looking at some of like the main quest things I have left. It seems like each game gets like 4 or 5 patches of MSQ related content, and they kind of start to move on with I'm sure they support it other ways, but like the main quest kind of ends. I think that final patch or the second to last patch, I think a something point 4 came out not too long ago. I think they're at the end game of Dawn Trail main support. So
Okay.
I think the team's ready to start churning out and get like real like heavy into production if there's not two teams proper there.
I would love to see a 17 sooner than later. Because 16 I skipped. It ended up by the time I played it, the demo, I don't know, didn't click with me for whatever reason. But I like it. And I like I like the theme you've got. Now I'll be disappointed if that's not there.
No, because also the names I've joked. Jill and Clive were two. I think they were too
Yeah.
American. We gotta go. We gotta step
No,
back a little
I
bit.
like, yeah, get it a little bit more fantasy. And is this a fantasy game? Like 16 was still kind of fantasy, where 15 was more contemporary?
Uh, hmm. Whatever the theming of nature. So maybe, yeah, probably more fantasy.
Okay, I'll take it. We're gonna have a pretty good 2025 if you and I have anything to say about it. We do, however, have something to say about 2025 in this podcast. That I know. So if you're listening to this, you're listening to what is technically the first episode of season 13.
Or watching.
And we've got, or watching. I keep forgetting that we've been recording this whole thing this whole time. Yeah, we've got 51 more of these. And what we do here on this podcast normally is we play one game, we talk about that game, and then we rank that game on the list. You can go find the list at thefreecheese.com/the list to see all 100 and what did we leave off on? 21 games? 121 games that we've ranked so far? 120 is where we left off. Everything from Super Mario Galaxy 2 to Blinks the Time Sweeper. But season 13, we got a little bit different of an approach. You can check if you open any article on the website and check the sidebar on a computer, because your phone probably won't show the sidebar. You can see the timeline of what's to come over the next 2 months. We've got published up there right now from today's episode through the end of our winter season, which will conclude with Animal Crossing Part 1 Winter at the end of February. I chose Animal Crossing as this year's tentpole game. So in turn, we'll be doing 4 Animal Crossing episodes, checking in with each season, covering the game, and then of course ranking it at the end of the year with the rest of everything else. But in between those, our standard weekly shows kind of move through one game at a time, and they'll work through different seasonal themes in different ways. We'll talk a couple, we don't have to spend too long, but what was your approach for selecting games this season? What should we expect from the Matt Sellner selection?
Oh God. A lot of one genre, and I think you'll figure that out early. Um, I went. I'll say it. I went a two-pronged approach off of Doom. Doom is two genres. It's first-person shooter and horror. Take with that what you will.
And we will. I went a different way with it. I kind of just kept, as I do, I'd run into games that I want to play or I want to revisit or I think would make good podcasts. And I just start building a list. And then I start whittling down that list. And when I landed on Animal Crossing and I landed on the seasonal aspect, I landed on the idea of like the seasons of video games in the sense of like uh, I don't know, like spring being a new idea in a video game, where fall might be like, this is the best that this team has ever made because it's the fruits of all their labor, et cetera, et cetera. Winter is more games that they're just trying to survive, man.
That's one way of
They
putting
might
it.
not,
Sure.
yeah. And then we've kind of got some organization around those in different ways. So yeah, my first game up next week is Metroid Other M, which if you've listened to the podcast for a long time, you've heard me talk about before, and you know I like that game a lot, and it didn't get its due justice. So we'll be talking about that one next week, and then Matt, the week after that, what are you kicking us off with?
Titanfall 2.
Oof, because you've not played the campaign
No, I did
before
not.
this.
No.
So those are our first two. We've got plenty more coming up. Plenty more coming up. Freecheese.com. Stay there all year long. And now video on YouTube. Stay there as well. We'll be back next week with Metroid Other M as Season 13 continues. Until then, thanks, Matt. Thank you, listener and viewer, for listening and watching. We'll see you next time.
I'll fix that. I won't do that next week.
We'll see you next time. Bye.